The killer is coming. The killer's gonna get you. Here, killer's here. Please. Nick. I'll never tell.
The potato. Nature's perfect vegetable, rich in AM, FM, and carbohydrates.
Gosh, please, I'm sure Einstein didn't take this much time.
Mr. Craven? So I guess this would be your first kidnapping, huh?
Shut up, Larry. Just drive the car, would you, please? You gotta rescue my girlfriend from Lou Maloney.
Women trouble?
She's not a woman. She's a demon.
Aren't they all?
Jonas, my name is Colin. I want to help you.
Mother priests. You should marry that Jennifer. You'll enough, didn't you?
Jonas?
Kind of like, I still get a bit titillated when I think of her saying that. Hi, Brock. When the first one was made, I was 11. And we were living in Los Angeles, and I knew my dad was doing stuff in movies, in development, and he was bringing home versions of a treatment for the Prom Night movie. So starting with a 1-pager and then expanding in a treatment form to maybe 3 pages, 5 pages, until it's like 20 pages. I didn't have any sense I was going to be in it. I was not an actor at that time. I was just a normal kid.
Look, Kim. It's Nick.
Time draws near and said, okay, we're going to audition some kids, and we need you to audition because you're going to read. You're going to be the reader. We need a boy. And so you're going to play. You're going to go to your uncle's house, and Paul Lynch is going to be there, and we just need you. They never told me I was going to be in it or anything.
Please calm down. Other police units are on the way. Calm down.
Then we visited the set, which was on the Don Mills Collegiate, where they were doing all the school stuff. And hung out there, met Jamie Lee Curtis. So she evidently knew my name. And I was kind of walking by, a little bit shy, and she said in this very flirtatious voice, "Hi, Brock." And I was like, and then she's like, you know, a 22-year-old gorgeous woman. It was sort of like an introduction to a real woman's voice and, you know, real feminine power. Then I'm back in school, and we get a call. My mom relays the call from my dad. The actor who's supposed to play this part, the boy, is sick. You're flying to Toronto in 3 days. I don't know that that was true. I thought back on it years later as when I was auditioning with, you know, I was that day with the kids, were they auditioning me, for example. So I thought, great, I get to fly to Toronto by myself.
7, 48, 49, 50. Killer is coming. The killer is coming.
There was a kind of these abandoned buildings from the Queen Street Mental Health Institute, which goes way back. It was like a very crude sort of, almost an insane asylum. It looked very rural and a bit spooky. So that's actually where it was shot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
The kids were just kind of brought into this. We all took it to be some kind of game, like sadistic game that kids would play.
Kill! Killer's gotcha.
Remember one of the ADs throwing in some ideas and like, okay, how about this? We turn it around and then all the kids go, the killers are coming. look at my face as I was doing that. It's like, I'm all in on that.
Kill! Kill! Kill!
And those terrible, the girl who played Robin, she was the one that I kind of had a little bit of a crush on. And so every time I see her falling down like that, I'm like, oh God, not my, you know, my Tammy. Her name was Tammy Bourne.
There's a special night in the lives of all of us. A night to be beautiful, to be desirable. A night we can break all the rules and make our own. Prom night. Everyone at Hamilton High is getting ready for final preparations and last-minute phone calls.
Nick?
It's my turn.
With the whole thing of a commercial success was completely just, this was a small Canadian horror film with a small budget and a Canadian cast. It kind of led a charmed life. The weekend that it opened, nothing else opened, and it just went, you know, went big on that weekend and just kind of had that momentum. How it affected my dad was just giving him confidence that, hey, I made a feature from start to finish myself with my uncle Richard Simpson co-producing, with not much of a map of what to do. It wasn't the comedy hour in terms of guys making it. It was guys who had limited experience, because in Canada at that time, not many films were being made. And after Prom Night, I think the change for him was just a full of confidence. He started 2 other films at that time, Melanie and Curtains. Curtains is another horror film that I think has its fans in the horror world.
And then there were 4.
Christy must have had a difficult night.
Did she? I wouldn't know.
But Curtains didn't come together in the same way. You know, there's a little bit of like, maybe that a little bit of beginner's luck was at work and getting a little bit of luck. And I do think Prom Night had the dice falling in the right way. And then for Curtains, it was kind of the opposite.
No, I'm not that desperate.
Still no date.
What else do you line up for your company?
Well, I'm planning to go alone. I'm gonna drink too much beer and throw up in the can. It's my duty. I'm a teenager.
I was 18, and by that point I was sort of an active actor. I had done quite a lot of theater and a few little parts in TV. You know, I wasn't a kid at that point, and I was also, well, I wasn't really grown up, but I was legal. And Ron Oliver, who wrote the script, which was called The Haunting of Hamilton High, he and I were friends, and obviously I'm still, you know, my dad's son. So Ron, he wrote like a substantial part for me. I felt a little bit funny because everyone else is auditioning, and I'm just being kind of handed the part, even though I did audition. So I became Josh, the best friend to Justin Lewis, and I became really good friends and just palled around in Edmonton. But I got to kind of, you know, it was a kind of part of some substance, I would say. Like, it was a lot of one-liners.
Boys and girls, this moment will be inserted into the annals of scientific history. And I think we all know how painful that can be. It's alive.
The real death was done in a frozen hangar, and like doing that scene, for some reason, this happens in movies, like you have to do it 40 times. and no one gives you a great explanation about, you know, why you're doing it again, or okay, I'll do it again. It's just a little bit arduous, and then all like after effects were put in later. So I thought it was a pretty good death.
Ow! Ow, Alex, that's pinching.
Shut up, Larry.
Come on, not so tight.
Whining.
Get on the radio, man. Over at Hooper's, and there's a couple of incredible blinds
You know,
here. And
it's gonna
one of
make
them
me look
says,
like a
"Keep
total
love,
jerk."
man, and you
Yeah,
look-
well, life's a drag, ain't
Larry,
it?
come on, man. If you're not here in 10 minutes, we're not going to get late.
I think it's important to say Haunting of Hamilton High did become a prom night movie because of like marketing decisions. So now it's a Prom Night II. There had been a script which was a real sequel to Prom Night, which involved the original characters and kind of sort of almost an alternative ending. But that script never got made. And then Ron's script, Haunting of Hamilton High, became the Prom Night II. So because the first and second one are not related, there was no reason to have the third one related. That's how they all became not just different movies, but really different genres. Because Prom 3 is like a Lynchian dark comedy in a way. You know, it has a comedian lead in Tim Conlon, who is a stand-up comic, and Ron Oliver's just offbeat, weird horror and comedy touches to it.
You asked me once how far I was willing to go to be successful. Any more questions?
My dad was very enthusiastic, and he'd usually say, you know, just do a little cameo or something. And that was really the cop thing, was more of a cameo, I think.
So, where are they sending you?
Africa. I fly to Khartoum next week.
No second thoughts?
None. I've never been more sure about anything.
Was it Paul Dreskin? He either wrote Prom 4 or he wrote the story to it. And he was a story editor too. And he said, well, this time we just decided, after 2 more or less comedy horrors with Ron, we're going to have just a really scary movie. It's just going to be dark and scary. And that was Prom Night IV. It was directed by Clay Borris, who made him a great Canadian, now this one is a Canadian classic, called Alligator Shoes. It's a very kind of subtle comedy drama about 2 brothers. So now he's in charge of this, you know, bigger production with some effects and, you know, a lot of moving parts. So now I'm like 22. I'm in university, but I'm like kind of, you know, wavering. I keep changing my major. I really wanted to go traveling and wanted to go to Europe. And, you know, it just so happens there was a Prom Night movie coming. I was shocked to see how much material I had again. This father priest character. God, this is a pretty good part. This would be great for someone to, you know, to start a young actor off on their career. Whereas me, you know, here I'm doing my 4th prom night. I'm clearly not heading towards a career in acting. I was actually starting to kind of not do that as much. It's like I say, Prom Night IV, it's taking on an air of comedy. Like, I'm coming in and the hairdresser is like, Brock, we were expecting you. Oh, this really great guy who's the hair and makeup, Leo, the Dutch guy. He'd be like, I see you're back, Brock, eh? Great. What are you playing this time? Ron Howard has a brother named Cliff Howard. Whenever you see something with Ron Howard acting or directing, you're gonna see Cliff Howard in it. Like, he's just gonna, I need a little part from my brother, or what can my brother do? I mean, that's just what happens. So I always think of my involvement as a little bit like Clint Howard. It's just a reality of it. If it's a prom night movie, I'm somehow gonna find my way into it.